Good evening. I have a couple of poems tonight by two different writers. The first one is by Pelaez Baumgaertner, and I don't know much about her. This is her reflecting on a visit to Bilboa, Spain. Both poems have longing. There's a sense of longing in both poems in different ways. So this is called Bilboa Alone by Pelaez Baumgaertner. Some of the sounds here are familiar. Vivaldi plays in the same language. Keys rattle in locks. The engines of buses sighs. They turn street corners. But something is different. An odd solitude. It digs under my watch into the small bones of my wrist. Here in this place there are no extras. I play the leading role. But I am as anonymous as my skeleton. I have no drawers of envelopes and paper here, no cupboards of glasses turned neatly upside down, no simmering stews, no one whose knees fit perfectly behind mine as I sleep. Nothing of myself is here except myself. What I have extends over vast landscapes, and it requires me to do nothing. I sit in the park and watch what passes. Short Basque men whose tobacco lingers long after they have gone. Dogs whose interest is in each other. A workman with a ladder. The dignified bus driver before the return trip. Hands crossed behind. And then, suddenly it is twilight. Sometimes one watches for no reason other than the eyes. Is this grace, this waiting, a simple existing inside of it? Is it always as ominous as these first few hours of unfamiliarity? The next poem is by Anne Porter. And I don't know if you're familiar with Anne Porter. I probably have read this poem in the past. Anne didn't start writing poetry till later in life. And her poetry touches me deeply. In fact, I always hope I don't, I am a crybaby, but you don't, somehow, a lot of times when I read, you may not see it. But when I read stuff alone, I think, I'll never be able to read that out loud. I get too choked up. So this is by Anne Porter. And it's called Music. And it's Anne Porter, the poet. Not, there is a novelist, I think Anne Catherine Porter. That's a different person. This is Anne Porter, the poet. Called Music. When I was a child, I once sat sobbing on the floor beside my mother's piano as she played and sang. For there was in her singing a shy yet solemn glory my smallness couldn't hold. And when I was asked why I was crying, I had not words for it. I only shook my head and went on crying. Why is it that music at its most beautiful opens a wound in us, an ache, a desolation, deep as a homesickness for some far-off and half-forgotten country? I've never understood why this is so. But there's an ancient legend from the other side of the world that gives away the secret of this mysterious sorrow. For centuries on centuries, we have been wandering. But we were made for paradise as a deer is for the forest. And when music comes to us with its heavenly beauty, it brings us desolation. For when we hear it, we half remember that lost native country. We dimly remember the fields, their fragrant windswept clover, the bird songs in the orchards, the white the wild white violets in the moss by the transparent streams. And shining at the heart of it is the longed-for beauty of the one who waits for us, who will always wait for us in those radiant meadows, yet also came to live with us and wanders where we wander. Y'all have a good evening. Blessings.